right? Two is build a community that answers that for you. And third is if it's really wrong and illegal, we'll take it down ourselves, right?
So you should
needs to be highlighted.
we should have actually somebody actively engaged in this full time.
Depends how active you're being. Depends how active, how many comments you get, and so forth.
Right. Does Facebook or WhatsApp have an online payment platform available already?
So none yet, but here's the thing. So Messenger, if you've heard of GCash or Paymaya, you can now connect your GCash and Paymaya accounts onto Messenger so that you can use Messenger to do things like pay your bills, send money from one Messenger account to another, and so forth. So you can attach that. I can't talk specifically which financial institutions, but more and more financial institutions will be connected to Messenger as a payment vehicle. In India, we have WhatsApp payments. So different countries have different rollouts. For us, because of the 50 million people, it's going to be in Messenger.
Okay. And the penetration level of Facebook in the Philippines is very high, right? It's about a number of people who actually use Facebook in the Philippines, about 80-something%, is it?
70 to 80%. Depends which. So if you look at addressable market, so excluding people who are below 12 years old, then it's close to 90% penetration. But it's somewhere between 70 to 75 of the 107 million Filipinos.
Did you mention? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Did you mention earlier in your presentation how many percentage of these people actually view and the ads that actually result into actual sale?
So, it's not specific to that number, again, because it varies a lot. So, depending on how good your ad is, so remember the part of creativity. So, an ad that is highly mobile optimized will get viewed much more than an ad that's not. So, that's a hard question to answer, but yeah.
Does the internet speed in the Philippines, is it a factor in Facebook advertising?
It's a factor, but you can work around it. So for example, what I usually tell marketers is you need to load multiple ad sets. What that means is that you load a picture, you load a GIF, and you load a video for the same campaign. Because what happens is that the platform automatically adjusts because it knows what speed you're using. So let me share how that works. When you wake up in the morning, you have okay speed because you have home broadband. If you're checking your phone, we'll probably send you something like a GIF, right? You're now on the road. And on the road, you maybe have 3G, 4G at best, but let's say you're passing through EDSA, you go through Guadalupe, your 4G will drop and it'll go through 3G. Guess what? The system will then say, wait a minute, I won't serve a video or a GIF, I'm going to serve now the image. Right? So it serves that because that's the bandwidth constraint. You're now in the office and you're leveraging your office great T1 connection. So basically now I know that and I'm now serving you a video for that same ad. And there's no extra cost to that, whether you have a video or a GIF, it's all the same. But if you load multiple assets, based on the network capacity at that point in time, I either send a very light asset or a very heavy one.
Are the ads limited to audiences in the Philippines alone, or can we opt for ads to be available to other ASEAN countries as well?
You can send it anywhere. So any audience globally is available to you as a marketer. So just to share some interesting stats. For small and medium-sized businesses, there are 50 million Filipinos who are connected to a small and medium-sized business in the Philippines. The more amazing stat is there are 130 million people outside the Philippines who are connected to a small and medium-sized business in the Philippines. And you can do the reverse because like I gave us an example earlier. If you're a Filipino company that wants to sell remittance in Hong Kong or Singapore, you can target people who are in Hong Kong and Singapore. Like I mentioned, China has one of our largest revenue bases without a Facebook audience inside China. That's because there are all these gaming companies, there are all these drop shippers, download companies that are selling from China over to Philippines, Indonesia, and so forth. So the same way they do that, we have a lot of, for example, I know people who make abaka shawls and so forth, and they sell that abroad because they're able to have their ads point to their page in whatever country they choose to. So.
You mentioned that Facebook isn't available in China, but if one has a VPN on their cell phone, I believe they're able to access, right? But is it safe to do that? Actually do that?
I wouldn't specifically know what the repercussions are, but just my own personal, nothing untoward happened when I used my VPN when I was in China 2 years ago, or last year.
Okay, that's good. I guess the biggest issue really for Facebook users is the data privacy issue, and that what happened with the Cambridge Analytica scandal was a major thing. And is there any assurance that Facebook users can have that this sort of thing will not happen again?
So I think a couple of things. One is it was a good, I'll call it, if you noticed, Mark. After that, a lot of things happened, and he said that he realizes that he could have done more. So I think the couple of key points is that what allowed it to happen actually hasn't been available for 3 years already. So even in 2015, we no longer allow people to get data that's then brought to someone else. So that was closed already in 2015. So what happened with Cambridge Analytica isn't possible ever since 2015. But in addition to that, they've done a couple of things. One is that, for example, we now pre-approve anyone who's going to gather data, right? We've limited what that data can be. We've also then made very transparent the security settings. So people used to complain that it's very hard to find certain things. We put them all in one page. So you can do your security settings fairly straightforward. You can also, as you've noticed, because of the GDPR rollout in the EU, that is now filtering throughout all the countries. You probably got a lot of notifications to say, update your security settings. So yes, it was a big realization. Yes, Mark specifically made it what his biggest mission of this year to fix all of that. And all of those 4 things have started to happen since then.
Does Facebook censor posts? Like, let's say you have a highly political ad, which is, let's say, against the government or something like that. Will Facebook take it down?
So, no, we don't censor posts. If that post violated some community guideline, because let's say there was profanity or it threatened an individual, then that gets taken down. Not because the post is against or pro someone, but because they violated some standard.
Okay, but for cases of profanity,
or threats, harassment, or you're asking someone to do something illegal. But at its core, we don't censor posts. Again, because we don't want to become the arbiter of truth.
I guess the main reason why Facebook penetration rate in the Philippines is so high is because the networks offer Facebook for free when you subscribe to a new plan. What if the networks were to remove that perk and no longer offer it for free? What would happen to Facebook's penetration?
So first off, I hope not, right? We work very closely with our partner providers to make sure that it's a valuable service for them so that they still keep it. If it were to get removed, I'll be perfectly honest, I think there will be a drop. Will it crater? I don't think so, because when you've gotten used to something as a core part of your life, whether that's your mobile phone and so forth, I think you'll have a hard time letting it go. Now, will you spend as much time? Maybe not. Right? Will it be 4 hours versus 2 hours versus 1? We don't know. Likely less, right? But I don't think it's gonna crater.
Your presentation was very interesting and it was an eye-opener for many of us. I'm sure many of our members would like to know more information on how we can make use of Facebook for our businesses. Would it be possible for your team to have a specialized workshop for our members in the chamber?
So let's work together. So let's have a chat. I'll bring in Chris. Unfortunately, he couldn't attend because he has the flu, but definitely because I think he said, how does he become a member? But yeah, so I'll work with him. We'll happily do that.
And how do we know how much ads cost on Facebook? How do we check?
It actually shows there, so you can do multiple things. You can estimate the actual cost. So for example, you're going to do an awareness campaign. There's a tool called Reach and Frequency in the campaign planner. Anyone who's ever played around with it, when you put it in, it gives you an estimated cost. And you can do various things, like you can set daily limits and say, I don't want to spend more than $50 a day. And you can cap it at that. So it's highly transparent. It's also variable because it's auction-based. So it's hard for me to specifically say the rough cost is, 50 cents per impression or whatever, because it varies. It varies by day of week, it varies by how much load there is at that point in time, it varies by, are you targeting very specific? So the general rule is if you target broadly, it's cheaper because it's easier to find those people. The more nuanced your segmentation gets, that gets more expensive because more and more people are fighting for that one or two people who fit that profile. So it's a tough question to answer, but it's very transparent in that perspective.
That's great. I think that's all the questions we have for you tonight, John. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
If I may just come in for just a second. I've been attending chamber meetings for the longest time. And I think today is the only day that I actually took notes. And this is probably the first meeting that I've actually learned a lot. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, John.
All right, once again, can we give another big round of applause to Mr. John Rubio for spending the time with us today. At this point, we would like to call on our President, Mr. Rex Darianani, and of course our VP for Internal Affairs, once again, Mr. Ravi Santani, to join us on stage as we present our plaque of appreciation as a simple token for gracing our general membership meeting today.
The Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce Philippines Incorporated presents this plaque of appreciation to Mr. John Rubio, Country Director of Facebook Philippines, in sincere gratitude for sharing his knowledge and expertise in digital marketing to enable businesses to grow and to help create a safe, informed, and inclusive community online, and for gracing the FICCI General Membership Meeting as guest of honor and speaker. Given this 28th day of August at the Mayuri Ballroom of Dudusitani Hotel, Makati City, signed Rex Darianani, President, and Ravi Santani, VP for Internal Affairs.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, once again, thank you very much, Mr. Rubio, for your time.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so the night has not officially ended. This is the time where we still get to speak with Mr. Rubio if you can still catch him. And of course, please feel free to network amongst yourselves. If there are any other questions, please feel free to pass them on to our secretariat. Or still feel free to continue sending an SMS to that message, to the number, and we would be able to pass it on. We'll find a way to respond to those questions and throw it back at you guys. Once again, this is Roshan Dariani, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.